When you're feeling blue, when you're feeling blue, tree, that's the thing to do, that's the thing to do. Just watch the smoke breezes rise to the air. You'll find your share of great memories there. So dream when the day is through. Dream and they might come true. Things never are as bad as they seem. So dream, dream. Just go ahead and dream. So dream, dream, dream. Just dream. Just dream.
Sorry, Meg.
Just because the Coda Singers have been here before doesn't mean that all of us know that. And the women who compose this group are extraordinary, not only in their talent, but extraordinary in their commitment to the community. And I think that every day can do a better job of appreciation. So can we show them a little everyday appreciation?
It's our privilege to be here.
That's more like it.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi. Before I read the four directions, I want to honor the Lakota tradition Mita Kia o Yasin, which means all my relations, even though we are individualized expression of creation, we are all a part of the one divine source. So we are all related. We are not separate from one another, and we are just remembering that. So here is our prayer today. Great Spirit, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, and all my relations, the two legs, the four legs, those that swim, the winged ones, the creepy crawlers, the fungi, the bacteria kingdom, the crystal and mineral kingdom, the flower and plant people, the tree people, the cloud people, and the star nation. We welcome and honor you and ask for your presence and blessings now at this ceremony to honor all that is. Please stand and face east. Spirits, energies, and animals of the east, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. East that represents sunrise, morning, new beginnings, illumination, the mental plane, and springtime. East that is represented by eagle that flies higher than any other bird and brings illumination from the spirit world. Strong, mighty elk also represents the energies of the east. Thank you for your presence here now. Please turn to your right. South. Spirits, energies, and animals of the South, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. South that represents midday, the fullness of life, the physical plane, green and yellow, joyfulness and summer. South that is represented by coyote, the trickster, the playful otter, and the innocence of porcupine. Frog that brings cleansing and new life and fertility to the beings of earth is also representative of energy from the south. Thank you for your presence here now. Please turn to your right. West. Spirits, energies, and animals of the West. We ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. West that represents the emotional plane, the end of the journey, completion, attainment of goals, sunset and autumn. West is presented by the strength and introspection of brown bear and the color red. Thank you for your presence here now. Please turn to your right. North. Spirits, energies, and animals of the North. We ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. North that represents nighttime, the spiritual plane, spiritual attainment in winter. North that is represented by the color black, white buffalo calf woman, wolf, the teacher, raven, the bringer of magic and healing from the spirit world, owl, guardian of the night, and by buffalo, that symbolizes prayers and abundance. Thank you for your presence here now. Please turn and face each other. Please close your eyes, put your hands over your heart, and feel the presence of all these elements within you, honoring each as an element of spirit. Now, please open your eyes. Take a moment as you see with the eyes of God. Notice God looking back at you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Denise Borlizzi, and I'm honored to be a practitioner emeritus at the Everyday Center. And I offer this prayer today from David Alt. Today, I remember how to bear the unbearable. I fully own my already existing bodhisattva nature. I release all identification with any part of me that feels defeated by or confined under the weight of human fragility. Instead, I open to the infinite nature of my pure essence, expanding, rising, and breathing as me. I surrender my hands and feet to become instruments of compassion, helping others bear the weight of tragedy, grief, and loss. In the spirit of the Buddhist practice of Tonglen, I draw into the altar of my heart those who are grieving and frightened. As Jesus the Christ became a conduit for absolving human forgetfulness, as Amma, the healing saint, embraces and absorbs the burdens of those she holds, and as the Indian sadhu eats the karma of those trapped in the illusion of duality, so too do I enter the consciousness of the One and emit it through every thought, every word, and every deed. From this sacred space, I transmit the undeniable energy of wholeness, the perfect harmony of creation, and the light of enlightened understanding. I immediately turn to any human suffering and understand it to be my training ground, allowing all that is wise to see through my eyes, process my thought, process through my thinking mind, and handhold me into what is mine to do. The ancients remember as me through these words. Even in apparent absence of wholeness, there is wholeness. Even in apparent absence of solution, there is solution. Even in apparent absence of right action, there is right action. even in the apparent absence of love, there is and always will be love. Settle in. In the apparent absence of love, there is and always will be love. So our affirmation today, I'll read it through and we can repeat it afterwards together. I open to the infinite nature of my pure essence, expanding, rising, and breathing as me. I open to the infinite nature of my pure essence, expanding, rising, and breathing as me.
Expanding, rising, and breathing as me.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Joseph Selleck, the music director here, and this morning it's a pleasure to be welcoming the Coda Singers. As you can hear, they're in beautiful voice this morning. And I'm going to invite Alicia Abbott, a longtime member of the Coda Singers, to come up and tell you a little bit about them.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As always, it's our pleasure.
Use the microphone so they can hear.
I get it. Normally, I can project. As always, it's our pleasure to be here today. Thank you for inviting us. Our member, Patricia Berry, is the person who turned us on to you, and we are so thrilled, as always, to come and sing for you. So just a few words. Thank you, Joseph. Coda Women's Singers are a group of ladies. There are 12 of us. Is that right, 12 of them? Many of us have been singing together for decades. And when many of us found ourselves without a choir, we had been in various other groups around Santa Fe, we started meeting under the brilliant leadership of Ms. Lydia Madrick. We just got together and started singing because we knew that we could and we really wanted to. We had all this music pent up and really wanted to start sharing with the world. So right before the coronavirus, maybe about a year before the coronavirus we were singing together. And then I know many of you have had this situation. We had to stop singing because everyone stopped communing during the virus. And that was really hard. For about a year, we could not sing. And when we finally got back together and really were able to get back together, we really started pulling it together. We sing to fulfill our souls and to bring pleasure and joy to other people. We sing for anyone who will hear us. And we are, as I said, we're really thrilled to be here this morning. Thank you.
Wise men say only fools run ashore, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay with me or sin? If I can't help falling in love with you. For I can't help falling in love with you. For I can't help falling in love with you. With you.
We can't help falling in love with you.
Channeling our elders all works for us.
Be nice. It wants to be nice. It just, likes giving me these little zippy things. So much on my mind to share today. So much on my mind to honor today. Before I get into what it is that I at least think I'm talking about today, because sometimes I never know. First, regardless of political affiliation, I would like for you to join me in honoring former President Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
Whose humanity, generosity, determination, selflessness, along with his wife Rosalind, I see as pretty unmatched in my lifetime. I do not feel that his passing was a loss. Because after 100 years, how much more are you going to do? I mean, I have great hopes for myself, but really, how much more are you going to do after 100 years of that kind of devotion? That kind of living in principle. There are two of our own, only one of whom is here today, that I want to take a moment for all of us to honor. You know, Stephen, who was our MC this morning, who, despite his misgivings to the contrary, did a great job. Because you always do. You bring your spirit to everything you do. He talked about the ways of being of service in this community, and that there's lots of ways of being of service. And two people who have dedicated themselves to being of service as readers of the Four Directions, which is what Mel did for us this morning. It's a very important part of our service. Patricia Elder and Laura Kuhln, who isn't with us this morning, I want to let you know that you are appreciated more than words can say. To show up every month when you sign up for something. I mean, it sounds like no big deal, right? You sign up for something, you show up every month. What's the big deal? It is a big deal. Right, Coda Singers? Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys show up for rehearsal. You show up to sing in various assisted living homes. You show up. And showing up is one of the things that I love to remind people that every day does, is that we show up for each other. And Patricia and Laurel have shown up for all of us since before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Laurel's online, by the way.
Oh, hi, Laurel. I'm talking about you. So the next time you see them, express your appreciation, because it's easy for a volunteer to feel unnoticed. Denise. And who has been showing up since I've been here as our tech person. It's important to say thank you to each other for the ways that we show up. That's what I'm talking about. So in case you've forgotten, I'm Rev Ann Ray, and I'm the spiritual guidepost, which is the new title I've given myself, for the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Fe, where? New Mexico. And we are new every day.
That's right.
And I'm starting out the year, as I usually do, by reminding us of the basic principles that this philosophy abides by. But I'm doing it a little differently this year because we're talking turkey about God. And this week, we're talking about the idea of the, quote unquote, the power. So many of us grew up in traditions where the idea of there being a universal presence that was actually all of life was really focused on one thing. Whether that thing was called God, or that thing was called Jesus, or that thing was called Allah, etc., 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 because there are more than 1,000 names, I might remind you. We may have grown up with an idea that to speak of this power, well, first of all, to speak of it was limited to people who were authorized to speak of it. Might have been. Maybe you grew up in a different tradition, but in the tradition I grew up in, you had to wear I'll give you a hint, vestments and, other things. In the science of mind, in the philosophy of the science of mind, one of the things that makes our philosophy, I won't say unique, because if we go back in history, even to pre-recorded history, to oral history, the idea of there being one source of all life that expresses itself by means of us, uniquely, individually, fabulously, in my opinion. It's not unique. But somehow it has ended up in the beginning, late 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, being thought of as new thought, being spoken of as new thought, when it's not a new thought at all. It definitely is a different thought, because what goes with that thought is that if that one life expresses uniquely, fabulously, amazingly, wonderfully, individually as each of us, then when we speak of divine qualities, we are speaking of our own nature. Stay with me now. When your mind starts going, but wait a minute, what about this and what about that? Stay with me. Because there are things that our brains haven't yet assimilated. And one of them is our divine nature. It might be. I'm not saying for sure. But it might be our divine nature, because that implies that I have a divine nature, that you have a divine nature, that you have a divine nature. That implies that all of those qualities, that I might actually be a vehicle for all of those qualities in the world. So, if I'm a vehicle for all of those qualities in the world, I could say, I didn't warn you to bring seatbelts today, did I? I could say there's already peace in the world because I'm peace.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I refuse to carry anything but peace within me.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say that there is already peace in the world. Now, does everybody know this? No. Is it a requirement?
No.
One person said no. Do you know what? There aren't any requirements. Holy cow. Where's she going next? There aren't any requirements. You don't have to have completed whatever classes. You don't have to have a certain degree, or many of them. You don't have to have the right, well, I was about to say outfit, but sometimes the right outfit is really important. Anyway, There are no requirements. The requirement is our own ability to take in within our being, not like taking in another person, but taking in the concept, taking in the consciousness, taking in what it means to actually be a revelation of the one life.
Yes.
To actually be that. And some of us have a hard time taking that in.
Yeah.
Some of us have a hard time, we can take it in while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it in while you're listening to me, because I don't give you much choice. But making that last. How do we make it last? We insist. That's how we make it last. We don't leave any choice within our own brilliant, and I'm not kidding, brilliant brain cells. We don't leave any choice for anything else. We don't leave open the door for doubt.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Doubt is just an invitation for fear to walk in, sit down, and take over.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no requirements. Because we were born this way. Isn't there a song like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, we were born this way. If you'll pardon the expression, we came out of the chute this way. We came equipped with everything that we would ever need or need to know. And then we forgot. And even that is no big deal. Even that is no big deal, because in our philosophy and in the other New Thought teachings that are similar, that are sister and brother relatives of science of mind, there is nothing, there is no shortcoming, there is no mistake, there is no whoops that we are held accountable for as far as life itself is concerned. Now, I'm not saying there's not accountability among each other, because there certainly is. There's absolutely accountability among each other and responsibility among each other. But in terms of life itself, some of us may have been taught that if we did this, it was unforgivable. If we did that, we had to do a certain practice in order to repent and beg forgiveness. If we, one of my old favorites, you'd have to have been a Catholic a while ago to remember this, but one of my old favorites, which really got me into trouble in school, was because I wanted to know why about everything. And when somebody said to me, because I said so, That did it for me. That did it for me. Because if one could not talk about something as important as a quote unquote law that was going to impact someone for all eternity, if they couldn't talk to me about that and tell me how that works, I wasn't interested. And believe me, I was a lot younger. Well, I was a little bit younger than I am now. If you stop and think about it, let's just think about this logically. There's one life. Even science agrees. They call it energy, they call it intelligent energy, they call it quantum physics, they call it lots of things. There's one life, there's one stuff that we're all from and of. Because it doesn't make us of something else. We are made of itself. Now that doesn't mean that we can do everything it can, because it still has a bigger Rolodex than we do. And for those of you who don't know what a Rolodex is, they were very helpful at the time. I'll say more gigs. It still has way more gigs than we do. And all of you, I think, know what those are, if you don't know what a Rolodex is. Anyway, so we went through this process of arriving with an awareness, not a mental awareness, not a physical awareness, but an awareness of what we were. And then we went about forgetting with some help. And now it's time to remember. Because there's nobody left to tell us those lies. To tell us those particular lies. I'm not saying there's nobody left to lie. But what we take in, what we call ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we internalize this amazing truth about ourselves, that's our work. And there is no time that is more important for us to be doing that work than now.
Right.
And the really cool thing is that we have this great community to do it in together.
That's right.
We don't have to do it by ourselves. We don't have to find the perfect book or the perfect class or the perfect whatever. You know what? And I'm not saying don't read and don't study other teachers and don't do any of that stuff. What I'm saying is trust yourself.
Right.
You have an inner wisdom as an individualized expression of this one. You have an inner wisdom that is greater than all those put together. Really. And for those of you who are sitting there thinking, but, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, or I can't remember what it is I'm supposed to do this afternoon, or, I don't think I can I've never felt worthy in my life. How can I possibly feel worthy now just because Anne says so? You can do it just because I say so. Because I have permission. I have permission, as all of you do, to speak with my own authority.
Right, that's it.
And this is what I know. This is what I know to be true. Your knowing may be different. Your faith may be different. Your belief may be different. Does that make you, and this is going to take us into a much bigger conversation, which isn't going to happen today. Does that make anybody, me or you, wrong?
No. No.
It doesn't. It doesn't make me or you or anybody wrong. It just means that we express the divine that we reveal differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes for interesting conversation, not war.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That makes for the opportunity for people to find things to love about each other that go beyond whatever their faith traditions are. This is a time of many things, not the least of which is a huge invitation for us to really give deep thought to who we are and what we bring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How things can change just because we're in the room. A friend of mine who is a published author posted something a couple of times this week that I just loved. And it came with a wonderful illustration, which I would show you if the screen was here instead of there. But it looked like a little bit like a teepee, just because of the way the light was happening in the scene. And it said, if everything around you appears to be dark, you may be the light. If nothing else, remember that we always have the opportunity to be the light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So your homework for this week. I hope you're ready. Anytime you doubt, how something is going to come out, how something can resolve. The reading from David Alt that Denise shared with us this morning spoke of things that appear to have no solution having a solution. We decide. We decide. And it starts with an idea. It starts with an idea. And then we nurture that idea, we kickstart that idea, we put some fuel in that idea by getting excited about it. So what if the thing that appears to have no solution has an easy one? What if? That'd be okay, right? Make room. Make room for the easy. Make room for the solution that in your initial thought you don't think is there. Just make room. That's your homework for this week. And so it is.
Okay, so if I could ask the ushers, please, to come forward. Thank you, Rev Ann. It was, as always, very powerful. I love the first 4 weeks of the month because we just get back to basics, but with this year's spin. And I like that very much. So now is our time for conscious giving. And I know there's many ways that we all give. We contribute online, we contribute through the website. We are live now on Facebook with a donate button. And some of us donate, automatically withdrawn. So what I'd like you to do, no matter how we give, is to fill your giving with that light. Fill your giving with that expansion and appreciation. And I grew up with the phrase, give till it hurts. I'm going to ask you to give till it feels great. And that will put a little different spin on what you're giving, no matter whether it's something that you're putting in the basket or just your energy as the baskets pass by. And thank you, Jackie and Kevin, for your service as you collect the offerings. If everyone please would join me in our affirmative statement. The love of Spirit blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And so it is. And so as the ushers are moving through the room, just a reminder that next week we'll be here at 9:30 for our pre-service meditation. It's been a great way to start the day the last couple weeks, and all are welcome online and in person.
A little something I forgot to mention.
She always has authority over the microphone.
So today, after Denise blesses the collection, today we are going to pass the baskets again. And the purpose for this collection is to support the fire efforts in California. We're deciding as a board exactly where that money is going to go and how it's going to be processed. But we can assure you that it will be put directly into hands that are working to serve those needs right now. Thank you.
I can, yes.
All right, so as Jackie's passing that basket, we'll just focus our other attention on what's already been put in and contributed, knowing that everything that is here is multiplied, expanded, and overflowing for the good of our community, for the good of Santa Fe, for the good of New Mexico and the country and the world. And so in recognition of that, I'm simply deeply grateful. And so it is. So while Jackie's finishing up, if the Coda Singers would like to make their way.
I'm kind of stuck. You won't be able to get up.
You're welcome.
Want me to sing with me?
An irresistible force such as you needs an old immovable object like me. You can bet, as sure as you live, as sure as you live, something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. When an irrepressible smile such as yours warms an old implacable heart such as mine, don't say no, because I insist. Somehow, someone's gonna get kissed. So I'm gone. Who knows what the fates have in store from their vast, mysterious sky? I try hard, ignoring those lips I adore. But how long can anyone try? Anyone try? Fight, 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 fight with all of our might. Chances are one heavenly star-spangled night. We'll find out as sure as we live, as sure as we live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Zing, zang, zoom, ra-da-do-down, bing, bang, boom, ra-da-do-down. Don't say no, because I insist. Somehow, someone's gonna be kissed. So I'm gone. Who knows what the fates have in store from their vast, mysterious sky? I'll try hard, ignoring those lips I adore. But how long can anyone try? Fight, 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 fight with all of our might. Chances are one heavenly star-spangled night. We'll find out as sure as we live, as sure as we live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Tonight.